Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today, we'll be going through this ToneX centered pedal board pretty much. And it's just this one up top. It's just the one up top. There is a pedal board down bottom on the floor here, but we're not going through that right now. That's literally most of my stuff that stays in my studio. If I have in a gig where it requires any of these pedals, then I would bring it, But this is my main gigging board here up top, and as you can see, it is quite a bit of quite a bit of effects packed into a very small space. But it's probably one of the most flexible additions of my, or variations, whatever you want to call it, of my pedal board I've ever been able to build, especially with the addition of these miniature pedals that have been coming out lately. Things like the Electro-Harmonix Freeze, the Spectra Comp, and the ToneX One. And I'm running that ToneX One stereo, by the way. And we're going to talk about that too, how to run your ToneX One stereo. And pretty much, there's a way you run it. Pretty much, people not realizing that the input and output on that ToneX One has a stereo in and a stereo out. You just need a TRS cable, right? So not just a regular standard instrument cable, because that's a mono signal. You need a TRS cable. So let me see. I think I got. So it'll look, the tip of it will look like this. If I can see that. But it'll have the double ring compared to these instrument cable ones. You see it only has one, right? So that's how you would be able to tell the difference between the two. But you need pretty much something that you need a Y cable, a TRS adapter on TRS on one side to two separate mono channels. So back here, I actually have two of them. I'll have to get up and show you guys in a minute. I'll show you. Or I might do a separate video about that, because it's a few ways. I want to give you guys a few different tips on how to do that. So, but the whole pedal board, basically, just understand I'm running that stereo, and I kind of told you the way I'm doing it at the moment. But you can get one TRS to two mono instrument cable, 1/4 inches. You can get have one going in and run stereo into it, and then you can run stereo out of it as well, same way. So, there's a few different ways you can set a pedal board up like this. And as you can see, having something like those miniature pedals definitely saves a lot of space. So as you can see, I have a Hog 2 down here on the floor, this really big silver pedal, and I love it to death. Is they don't really sell them too much. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. They're difficult to find sometimes. So I don't like to take that out the house. That's more of something for my records. I like to make sure I have that available for my sounds, for the studio, for my own personal recordings or other people's stuff, just various things I might need it for. But I love the way it sounds and the features. So I can't get all the features of it in any other pedal, especially these smaller pedals. So, I use something like the Poly Blue, this, in conjunction with, or I can use the OC5. Either way, either one of these octave pedals. And I use this uh, Electro Harmonics Deep Freeze pedal to do a lot of the freezing. And right now I have it on automatic mode, so I don't even have to press it. If I want it to sustain infinitely, it can do that as well. But I got it set to have a little bit of decay to it and a little bit of glissando. And they just pack so much into that little pedal. It allowed me to get a lot of the features from the expression mode on the Hog 2 down here, which is the things like freeze and glissando, um, freeze and volume if I wanted it. It's just so many variations I can have with that little pedal. And, the additional feature that the Hog 2 doesn't have of the layers. If I want to do layers, I can do that too. So, but it's not you can watch the deep freeze. I have reviews on pretty much all of these pedals at this point, so you can watch reviews on all of them. And if you want more in-depth explanation of how to use them or what they do, so that'll be available as well. So let's continue. So let me just explain what's going on here. So everything's coming into this T-tone three-way looper switch, pretty much. So what this does, this is a passive one. So it doesn't require power necessarily unless you want these LED lights to work. So I do have to have some power. I do have a power running to it so I can tell when the loops are on and off. Because you will literally, without the lights, sometimes it gets tricky. So I would just rather just go ahead and have a power slot for it, and it doesn't have to be the fanciest power slot. You know what I'm saying? You can, if you got a extra mower or something like them little power bricks and little mower power bricks, that'll do you fine for stuff like this or an expression pedal, things that don't really affect the sound too much. This is pretty much passive. The only thing that power is running is these LED lights, so it's not gonna affect your sound with the power on or off. So right now, as you see, the entire loop's on, which is that is quiet. That's pretty quiet there. So yeah, that's a pretty complex sound, even from this little pedal board here. And one of the things I do, so I got my first loop here, and this just separates my board into 3 different parts, really 4. So I come in here, and if all these are bypassed, I come straight out of here, straight into the Spectracomp here. and then into the ToneX one. So effectively, I'm bypassing everything except for and just running the Spectre Comp and the ToneX one by themselves when all of these are off. So turn the ToneX one on.